I'm gonna do the intro. I don't think he's gonna do the intro. Hi guys, this is the Boat Row Bullies podcast. Back in my basement. Let me turn the strobe lights off before I have an epileptic seizure. I don't know how to do that. There we go. Welcome back. Welcome to my basement. It's good to be back. I was away last week due to work.
It's a busy time of year.
Holidays really get me going. But it's nice to be back and, hanging with the boys. Izzy G here. None known as C Money.
C Money.
This is Connor. On the far end there, Sneak and Jolly Ranchers is our boy Grassy.
He has a problem.
Trick play. Oh, it didn't do much.
I got him like 2 or 3.
I love when they run trick plays and you get 2 or 3 yards. Hello, Jesus?
God, is that you? Ooh, it might be Santa. 'Tis the season.
This early? Yikes. That's a lot of coal.
At this point, Santa must be breaking into houses to get the toys.
Here's your fucking iPad.
It's one of those things where, you know how like you go to Target on Black Friday and it's like you remove the Black Friday discount and it's the same exact
price.
Discount. Santa is actually just robbing people's houses early in December and then re-gifting it
Man,
later.
I can't find that brand new iPhone I just bought. Oh, look, it appeared on Christmas Day.
Wow, how'd you know, Santa?
What a guy, that Santa guy. Or if you've seen the trailers for the new movie, that Satan guy.
Oh, you know what?
With Jack Black.
I weirdly enough really want to see that, actually.
I'll watch anything with Jack Black in it.
I know. I do love Jack Black. Well, except for that new Fallout. What's that, Fallout? No,
Minecraft?
Borderlands.
Oh, Borderlands?
Yeah, I won't watch that.
I mean, it's going to come to streaming services at some point.
I mean, I guess I'll watch it then, but I heard it was not worth the time.
Oh, yeah, but again, if I don't have to do anything except for push a button and sit on my couch, I'm in.
That's a very good point.
Why wouldn't I do that?
I actually have a letterbox now. I rate movies.
Do you actually?
I do. I do that in my spare free time now. Whatever free time that is that I have.
Are we, is our podcast going to start, is that Cedric?
No, I think that's Elijah Moore.
No, you're right.
I was really hoping it was Jerry Judy for a second.
Is our podcast going to transition into us just reviewing movies?
It might.
What are we, New Heights?
Whoa.
Well, I mean,
I do that exact thing now.
There goes our sponsorship or our partnership.
I have reviewed movies.
I didn't say anything bad. They just do that exact thing.
I have reviewed a TV show on our pod here, and you guys had nothing to do with it.
And
Bluey?
No, not Bluey. Arrested Development.
Yes, that's right.
Oh.
It was when me and Izzy just stared at you for like 3 minutes while you were
No,
rambling.
I think you were
could keep
miserable.
going.
I was having a good time.
I could keep going, honestly.
I know you could keep going.
In today's episode, will you review Bluey?
Please. Actually, I was watching Bluey earlier today, and I was having a
also
grand
was
old
too.
time. Okay, but like I have an excuse to watch Bluey.
David Njoku.
I got Njoku starting tonight.
Not an excuse, but more or less. Yeah,
All right, listen. I love the fact that Jameis isn't at quarterback because it only ever seems that when Deshaun Watson is at quarterback, he never throws to Njoku or never
Well, it's
throws.
because he's not a good quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. So it seems like when anybody else other than Jameis isn't at quarterback, or
What a ball.
Deshaun.
Holy crap.
Deshaun, literally, they get points.
Yep.
So I can't start these guys at any point during the season until it's another quarterback.
Yeah.
Because Deshaun Watson is
That's why you just be
terrible.
like me and trade for all the good wide receivers that get the ball all the time. He made it. Barely.
Yeah.
Like Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, but I mean, I do like
Troy Franklin.
I do like
Cedric
Franklin.
Tillman.
Cedric Tillman, yeah.
And a second? A
Yeah.
first?
I think it was a
This
first.
is a first.
I also the waddle for Garrett Wilson and Keon Coleman. Although Keon Coleman's hurt right now, I still like that deal.
I still think you could have gotten more.
I probably could. I mean, I don't know. He already seemed like he was pretty hesitant to give up on what he did.
That didn't even feel like much.
I don't know, but it's all good. I mean, Garrett Wilson is in whatever purgatory the Jets got going for him, and
New York.
yeah. But all right.
Speaking of New York,
Speaking of New York,
would have been a smooth transition to the Giants had I not announced the smooth transition to the Giants-Eagles game.
I still think it works.
That's all right.
You were saying?
Pause for dramatic effect.
All right.
I don't know. My brain shut off there for a second. I've had a hell of a week. I'm still trying to
It's
recover.
Monday.
I've had a hell of a day. No. Yeah, Eagles Giants played Sunday. I'm sorry, Eagles Giants. Whoa.
I was
Eagles
wondering
Let
where you
me
were going
back
with there.
up. Wow. Sorry.
You said Eagles Giants before with the segue.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Segue.
are we talking about the Bills or?
I'm in a whole different realm right now.
did mention-
Let
I
me
did
let
mention
me
talking
let me
about the
explain to
Giants.
you why my brain is so fried right now, just so the viewers, when I have a million mishaps, understand.
He ate too many Jolly Ranchers.
I did. So again, this past week was Thanksgiving. We are on Monday. I work at a farmer's market. As I tried to mention before, our producer failed to start our recording properly.
Not started. I just didn't get any audio.
Anyway, so I worked 58 hours this week, and my job requires constant movement. I stand all day, so I was all over the place. Again, Thanksgiving is one of our busiest holidays. I think we had something like 300 orders on Tuesday and Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So I'm just very shot. So again, I understand we played the Ravens yesterday and not the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
My brain must have been thinking like 4 weeks ago when we played the Giants.
I was gonna say we played the Giants the last week of the season, which I did look. I am very happy the fact that we don't have any more like prime time unless we get flexed, but we don't have any more prime time like 8
Yeah.
o'clock, 8:30 starts.
I can go
the
to
rest
bed
of
at a
the year.
reasonable hour.
Yes, I think so. Carolina's 1 o'clock. I know Pittsburgh's at 4, which I think is next week.
15th.
Yeah.
We're Carolina, then Pittsburgh.
Right, and then I know Dallas, New York, and then Washington are all sprinkled in there. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy.
So, yeah. I think we're all assuming a win versus the Panthers.
Yes.
Steelers?
Steelers could really go either way.
I think our defense is just playing too well right now.
So you think they kind of come back down to earth against Pittsburgh,
No.
or against?
Like I say that like our defense is playing really well right now, and like we like stomp on Pittsburgh.
I could see it. I mean,
I think the Ravens have a better offense than Pittsburgh does, and again, outside of that, Isaiah Likely, 30 seconds in the fourth quarter touchdown. We're up, or we held them to like what?
12 points.
12 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I understand there was some missed field goals and extra points in there, but I'm not saying you shut down George Pickens, but I mean, Quinyon Mitchell's been doing a pretty damn good job out there.
Pickens
So
shuts himself down. half
you
the
know,
time anyway.
That is actually a good thing, like idea that like you brought up. So, because I know Q's a pretty quiet guy until like he's on the field, and then he like starts talking
he jaws
smack.
to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious with George Pickens, like how that would all play out. Because
Yeah.
George Pickens seemingly fights everybody.
That's
So-
an incomplete pass.
Please be an incomplete pass. I'm
Should
playing.
be.
I'm playing against
I don't-
Cleveland's defense.
I don't know. Was there a football move there?
No.
No, because he dropped the ball. The ball hit the ground.
I'm
I
playing.
thought he turned.
Oh, here we go. It's good old what's his name as the referee.
All right, so here's the catch. One, two. Yeah, he's turning upfield.
I don't think that's a football move.
I don't know. If it's ruled a fumble on the field, I mean,
That-
granted, listen, I've seen longer like catches get dropped and called for an
Like it
incomplete
looked like
pass,
as
so.
he caught it, he was turning, and then it got punched out. So I mean,
Oh, okay, they are calling it incomplete. So that we're not even gonna look
Wow,
at it.
what a waste of our time.
All
thank
right.
goodness. I'm playing against Cleveland's now. Again, I'm up like 20. It's Johnson.
Oh, okay.
I'm up like 21.
Yeah.
Crazier
Nix.
things have happened.
Ah, man.
Attaboy, Bo.
Hey, Franklin. Anyway,
We were talking about.
we were talking about the Eagles
yep.
and not having to worry about like any more prime time games, and I guess unless they get flexed.
Yeah, and I bet that Panthers Eagles game definitely gets flexed.
That's 100% going to be the Sunday night football game.
Dun 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 dun.
But wait, that's Monday night.
Whatever.
I've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
Thanks, Carrie.
You're welcome. As you can tell, we've got the same
Vocal range.
vocal. Yeah.
And I dug my key into the side of his. Anyway,
YouTube doesn't know what we're singing.
Grassy
No, I was-
looked at
I
me
was-
so quick because he
I
was
was-
like, "This is gonna get
No,
shut
no, no,
down.
no, no,
You
no,
can't
no.
do that.
Yeah,
What are
100%
you
was
doing?"
I was trying to
100%
think,
was thinking it.
For some reason, in my mind, I'm like, that's Kelly Clarkson, but it's definitely not.
No,
That's not Kelly
wrong.
That's
Clarkson.
why-
Wrong blonde country
That's
singer.
why I looked over at you. I'm like, is that
Is that
wait,
Lady
no, I'm wrong.
Wilson?
It's Christina Aguilera.
It's actually the Philly Specials.
You know what? I fuck with it.
I do too. Anyway,
Tis the season.
so what? Eagles are 10-2 right now.
Yes.
Um,
We feel much better about this 10-2 than
we
last
did last year.
year's
Yeah.
10-2.
We only seem to be getting better.
I would agree.
Again, it seems like after the O-line went and approached Nick Sirianni about becoming a run-first team, everyone's kind of fully committed to that,
Mhm.
and Saquon is having the time of his life out there, both
He
on
really is.
and off the court or off the field. I think he's currently the MVP favorite. I know you guys talked about that a little bit last week. Him and Derrick Henry were both kind of 1 and 2 for best running back in the league per the stat wise this year. And after last night's game, Saquon kind of ran away with it. I forget what Saquon finished with. Over
It was,
100 rushing yards.
It was like 23 for 107 and a touchdown.
Yeah, and I'm sure there was a couple receiving yards in there, a couple
Yeah.
catches. I would absolutely. I also saw he's on pace to break.
The all-time rushing record.
Yes, yeah, for a single season record. Yeah.
Well, kind of put it in perspective. I mean, we're in week 13, and he's got 1,500 rushing
it's
yards.
bonkers.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
It's bonkers. Like, and at this point, it's like, oh, we might not even need our starters out there the last game of the season.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, like he still might be on pace. Like that's just ridiculous.
I mean, it kind of now. Granted, Washington did just beat Tennessee over the weekend. But, I mean, in a perfect world, if we can just clinch the division. Now, granted, I know we're still kind of chasing the Lions, and I know that first overall pick or that first round bye is
Yeah.
going to be pretty important.
Yep.
But if you can, in a perfect world, Saquon doesn't play the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah. Now, if it's for the all-time
Now,
single season
yes.
record, I say, hey, get out there, Saquon. It just every week I catch myself after a Saquon touchdown, after a Saquon big play, like chuckling to myself, and I'm like, I can't believe the Giants let this guy walk.
Yeah.
Like, and then on top of that, like Daniel Jones asking to be released, this, that, and the other. I'm like, okay, so the guy you paid instead of Saquon played so poorly, you benched him, then asked out. Now you're starting Tommy Cutlets, which is cool, whatever. And your entire offense is Malik Neighbors, which is no different than when it was just Saquon Barkley. But now it's just a wide receiver who you need a quarterback to get him the ball. Like, so I just, that touchdown he had last night against the Ravens, I just chuckled because I was like, I can't believe the Giants let this guy walk. Like, they are such a poorly run organization.
Yes.
And it's like, as an Eagles fan, I'm thankful for it. Same with Dallas right now. Like, they just are, like, Dallas is stuck in
Dallas is
mediocrity.
lying to themselves right now.
New York is just consistently bad. And actually, the only threat in the division right now is really Washington. And I still think they're like 2 years out. They're still a couple pieces away.
Yeah, I was going to say because they now granted, like I said, I know they beat Tennessee pretty good here. But I mean their 3-game stretch that was supposed to kind of be like a prove it kind of deal for them. I mean, they didn't live up to the hype at all.
No. And I just I don't know, like again, you mentioned earlier that this 10-2 feels a lot different than 10-2 last year.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we just continue every week to get better. A.J. Brown talked about the passing game and how, I think they only passed the ball 19 times last night.
Mm-hmm.
And A.J. Brown was just like, I just want to win games. I'm cool with it. Like,
yeah.
And again, it's like the perfect punch because you have, and now I know Devontae Smith has been out with a hamstring injury, but you have like this perfect balance where it's like, hey, we have the best running back in the league, so we're going to run the ball through him.
Yeah.
And then, hey, here's a play action because we have A.J. Brown one-on-one, Devontae Smith one-on-one, Dallas Goedert one-on-one with whoever, and it just constantly feels like they're playing their cards right.
Yeah.
Where, again, it's like, okay, perfect time for play action. Okay, perfect time for an RPO quick slant to AJ. Perfect time to bounce this outside. Like, it's just like everything seems to be going really well. And that's not even factoring in the defense, which has been night and day difference from last year
Mm-hmm.
because they brought in legitimately like 2 guys. And that is, 3 guys. I'm going to include Zach Bond in there. Zach Bond, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. We can talk real quick about the Cooper DeJean tackle on Derrick Henry because it was peak male performance.
I mean that was just like what can you really say? I mean it's literally like a 50-pound difference of
If not more.
Yeah, and Cooper DeJean
Breaking barriers.
just literally like about as textbook a tackle
Oh,
as you could
absolutely.
possibly, especially for a guy like Derrick Henry too.
Yeah.
Like went about as low as you could possibly go.
Yeah, shoulder pad in hip and wrapped legs and just pushed to the ground. And it just
Yes.
so happened him pushing him to the ground was the equivalent to Randy Orton's suplex.
Yes.
There's your wrestling reference for the night.
Are you happy now?
He was doing the celebration, so I think so.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. What?
I made a wrestling reference for you. Did you even hear it?
He's not even paying attention.
Man,
Kind of,
I,
not
thought-
really.
I thought you'd be proud of
Aw,
me for that
man.
one. It was a good one. I mean,
I thought it was pretty good.
I said he picked him up and tackled him to the ground like a Randy Orton suplex.
Okay.
I guess you didn't hit the.
I mean,
Whatever.
Randy Orton doesn't do his
I don't
suplex.
care. I tried. Better than a
That's
Rey
more-
Mysterio suplex.
That's more. It's not. I mean, if you really want to get technical, it's not a suplex. It's just
a
a
Triple
it's,
H spear.
It's
Is that
just
better?
It's just a takedown. I mean,
Triple H spear.
it's a spear. It's a spear. I think
Is
you
that
wanna talk-
better?
It's a
Is
spear.
that better?
Mr.
A Randy
Technical
Orton
over
spear.
Let's say Roman Reigns or Braun Breaker spear.
I have
Getting
no
a
idea.
little too
Technical.
technical.
I made
Little-
a wrestling
little-
reference. I've mentioned a wrestler and a wrestling move. Be proud of me.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
We were getting a little too
I acknowledge you.
over the heads of the viewership here.
It's over my head.
I know. John Cena.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
That's all you need to know.
The time is now.
He's retiring from wrestling, which is kind of sad.
Sure he is.
Can you
He actually
smell
is.
I
what
fe-
the Rock is a cooking?
Didn't
I thought he retired
Rock
like multiple times.
retire?
No, he's never officially like retired. He's doing like a year-long retirement tour this like next year.
I
and
can't
that's
wait
it.
until he retires,
Derek
and then
Jeter?
next year it's like,
That's kind of what he's doing.
look who's
yeah.
coming out at the Royal Rumble. John
I mean,
Cena.
he said he's not. Once he's done, he's done.
Yeah,
so.
okay.
That's what they all say.
I mean, he's gonna have to.
I mean,
they're
did
gonna have
The
to.
Rock-
Why are we talking about wrestling? Anyway,
Yeah,
back to
back
football.
to the Eagles. Back
Sorry,
to the
Grassy.
Eagles.
Grassy got really sad. It's okay. Just eat your Jolly Ranchers.
I'm watching wrestling.
He is
so it's
watching
fine.
wrestling.
But yeah, I'm just very impressed at this defense and their ability. And I think what stood out the most outside of Quinyon, and I think you'll back me up on this,
Mhm.
is just the tackling of the team.
Oh my gosh, it's
Like,
a million times better.
It is
Even compared to the to week 4 of the
Yeah.
season.
like it is just like no one's breaking tackles. Everything seems to be. That might be a flag.
Nope.
Oh, it was close. Sorry, we're watching Browns Broncos right now. Every like open field tackle, if they're not downing the man themselves, they are preventing further motion. So they're just, it's Cooper DeJean kind of tying up a guy's legs, and sure, he might try and hop his way out of it, but then Zach Bond's there to finish.
Yeah.
Reed Blankenship's there to finish it. It's just really improved. It's been kind of like a breath of fresh air. Like I don't have to worry about like whoever, and like I'm trying to think of who our safeties were last year that were terrible at tackling.
Our safeties
Kevin
last
Byard.
year. Well,
Kevin
Kevin
Byard.
Byard. I didn't hate Kevin Byard.
Nah,
he was
he
actually
was-
the one safety that was actually
Well,
like
and
okay.
Reed was out there too, wasn't he?
Reed was out there. Sidney Brown was out there.
Kelly Ringo played some last year too, didn't he?
Yeah. to think.
Anyway,
It's let's just say it's a lot better to have C.J. Gardner-Johnson out there. He's been significantly improved since the beginning of the season.
yes.
Obviously Q and Cooper, we can't say enough good things about them. I can't say enough bad things about Avonte Maddox because it seems like every
I
time
want
he's
Dude,
on the
he-
field,
like,
he was
fucking
on the
team.
he was on the field for 2 plays, and the one what got called for
A pen- yeah,
the
a hold.
penalty, which they ended up scoring a touchdown off that drive.
Yep.
And then the
That
second
was
one,
a crazy throw. That was the Mark Andrews touchdown.
yeah,
That was a
which he
crazy,
some- I'm not really sure how
crazy
he did
throw by Lamar.
that. I originally, for a split second, thought it was picked
I
off.
did too. And then
And
all of a
then-
sudden, Mark Andrews is just
Yeah, he's just like big man Mark
And I was like,
Andrews.
that's crazy.
And then the second time he was on the field was that ball that Nelson Aguilar thankfully dropped, which
Yeah.
the telecast was like, "Oh, Avonte Maddox did such a good job," and it's like literally most wide receivers probably make that.
I don't
play.
understand how he's still actively on the roster.
I mean, I don't understand how he's A, actively on the roster, B, still getting playing time.
Meaningful reps.
Like
It's not like we're
they
up
target
30.
him every single time that he is out there. Every single time.
And it's like so blatantly obvious, and they're just like, okay, well, here you go. And
Yeah.
I guess you kind of had to this week with Slay out.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, like, all right, whoever, you need a, Cooper, you need a breather, here you go. Like,
you just got to figure out another option at like the slot spot. Like I know they play Cooper DeJean there, but like it seems like every so often they'll like rotate him, and like you just got to figure literally anybody else out.
Isn't Kelly Ringo still on the team?
He is, but it seems like they primarily use him for outside.
Nah, whatever.
They use Ringo for outside.
Anything's got to be better
outside.
than Avonte Maddox.
I mean, at this point, I would take literally anybody else.
I'll go play.
But I was watching
slot corner.
Yeah. I was watching a breakdown by Dan Orlovsky today, and he was like, the one thing that really stood out is just how every single time that it was like one of those like, check down throws, anytime like Lamar had any sort of threat to break the pocket, it was like you see like 5 Eagles immediately swarm the ball. And it was the one play, I think it was like 3rd and down and 10, and it was like a check down. And literally, like, you look, and you have 6 Eagles immediately around the ball. And it's like everybody holds their gap so well.
Is that when they showed the shell coverage on the replay?
Yeah. And Vic Fangio has just done such a phenomenal job with these guys.
Yeah.
And at just a complete 180 compared to what it was last season.
No, it's been a lot of fun to watch. Again, it's like even yesterday, like I was like, all right, this will be a really good test for this defense. Like this offense is one of the best in the league. You know, Lamar's fantastic. Derrick Henry's fantastic. I think Zay Flowers is going to be a fantastic wide receiver for years to come. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. I mean, Deontay Johnson, who didn't play a snap but was dressed.
Deontay Johnson, who they traded for, and
I don't understand. There's got to be something going on behind the scenes there that, like, it's
like,
just.
Did they only trade for him just so he didn't go to somebody else?
It almost feels like that, but at the same time, it's like and then even like last night, like Rashad Bateman got hurt, so it's like here's that's why you were saying
to play him.
Yeah, and they were like, nah. So either like I wonder if he just like doesn't want to be there, and he's like throwing a fit about it. I hope not. I don't really know Deontay Johnson's personality.
Deontay Johnson was with what, Carolina?
Yeah.
So you're going
like
from
a
one of
huge
the worst
improvement.
teams to one of the best teams.
But is he like an egotistical kind of guy? And again, I don't know much about Deontay Johnson's personality to say like, well, I was the number 1 there. I want to be the number 1. And they're like, no, you can play like the slot. And he was like, I don't want to play the slot. I want to play outside. Whatever the case is. I don't know. You know what I mean?
But at that point, it's like you don't want to play like at all.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting paid, I guess.
I mean, he is getting paid to essentially stand there on the sideline and dress. But like,
yeah. It's just it does feel really weird. It does feel like a move where they were like, "Oh, we're just doing this so no one else can have you."
Yeah.
But they gave up like a 4th round pick for him. Like, I thought for sure that he would like unlock that offense for him.
Also, I do have a question. What is Denver's obsession with their elevation? With their
I don't know. I saw that too, and then I thought about Denver Nuggets jerseys.
Yeah, and I'm really about these Denver Bronco uniforms.
I'm cool with it on the helmet though.
Honestly, although I keep looking at them thinking that they're the Chargers. I'm not gonna lie.
I see that.
And I actually do really like this look. Oh no, I do really like this look for Denver. But they have like right in front on the helmet, they have the elevation
5280.
Yeah, and it's like for some reason, like the Nuggets are like in love with that. That's their city edition jersey every single year.
It's the worst part because like on the jersey, also they just do the Kai Cenat.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
Pool noodle interception, Selly. That's kind of crazy. Shout out Kai.
Yeah.
That ball hit the ground first?
I don't think so.
Nope.
But
yeah, I like in Denver's is the worst because at least on the football helmet, it's small enough. You know, it's right up front here.
Like it's
that
subtle.
It's like oh okay cool, but like the city uniforms for Denver, the Nuggets, it's just like there's no letters. It just says 5280, and then below it has like the player's number. And I'm like, that's so confusing. Like
It's not good.
It looks awful.
Honestly, I really do actually like the Nuggets City Edition jersey like design.
Mhm.
I just literally, if you just put Nuggets instead of the stupid elevation, like I think it would be fine. I don't understand what the infatuation.
I would have
is with
even
it.
been cool if they made like if it would have said Denver, but going up the D, it said 5280, and then they made it a D,
Yeah.
and then wrote Denver. Like that would be like cooler to me because then it still looks like a D, but instead it's just numbers. Like it looks
Yeah.
so dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're off topic.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, kind of going back to the Eagles. I do really appreciate the fact that offensively they weren't necessarily clicking yesterday. They didn't really get away from their game plan at all, though. They stuck with the run game. Saquon had like 65 rushing yards there in the fourth quarter alone,
Yep.
which
Well, they
he just wears you down. Like,
I was going to say that he's a fantastic running back, but in the second half of games, it
Yeah.
seems like the O-line and Saquon just beats these guys up enough that, like, all of a sudden, because I think they said in the second half he averages like 7 yards a carry,
yeah, it's something ridiculous,
which is like
that.
bonkers. Like that's stuff that guys who like have like 4 carries a game averages. You know?
Well, and the thing is, too, I mean, we kind of talked about it last week a little bit, where Jalen Hurts is such a good game manager. Like, the Eagles, essentially, they get out to this lead at, like, pretty much at any point in the game, and I think that's kind of when they can start breaking out, like, the heavy run packages, and that's when the offensive line can kind of flex their muscles a little bit and
yeah.
be like, okay, listen, we're going to run the ball, and you're going to take it, essentially.
I think my favorite part about the Eagles discovering this like run first offense is the usage of a fullback now.
Well, and
I love it.
I do love that too. Ben Vance, what is his name? Ben Van Sumeren?
Eagles
Ben Vance-
fullback.
Yeah, the Eagles fullback.
Yes,
He did injure his knee, so he is
Yes.
out for
Yeah.
the season.
But they had another one.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's the tight end CJ.
No. it's somebody else.
Ushinzama.
Yeah, was it somebody else?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I
Grant
didn't-
Calcaterra.
Grant Calcaterra,
It's just so fun to watch like
old school
gritty football where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm gonna hand it to Saquon and he's gonna run between the tackles. And again, like you said, there is nothing you guys can do about this.
But let's kind of think about this here for a sec. So let's rewind back to Jalen Hurts' first year as a starter. All right. So they tried to be
Number 2. Oh no, he was number 1.
He was number 1 at this point. They tried to be a pass-first offense, to the point where Eagles fans were begging Nick Sirianni
remember
to
that.
just run the football, and then he essentially ran the football so much to the point where it was almost like to like a sarcastic amount,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked. And they were like the best. It was like the most rushing yards in a game.
Didn't they give Miles Sanders like 1,300 yards rushing that year?
Yeah, they essentially like it was probably one of the best rushing years in like probably like towards the top in football
Yeah.
history, and they started doing it like week 7 or 8, and so like the entire rest of the season they're like, all right, we're a run first team, like we're heavy in the run game. It's like, okay, cool. Next season they utilize the pass a lot more because they go out, they get AJ Brown, they now have Devontae Smith for a full season, like but they still also heavily utilize the run game still. Then you go to last season, where last season it seems like they couldn't utilize the run game for whatever reason to the what they wanted
what they
to,
utilized was the run game, but the run was a QB draw.
with an injured Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
So it really didn't do much for them at all there. And then again, I think to start this year, the first like 4 games of the season, I think again you're trying to
It seemed like
you're trying to force the pass.
Well, yeah, and it seemed like Nick in the offense was like, well, hey, we just signed Saquon, so everyone's going to assume we're going to run the ball more, so we're going to surprise them and pass more. And they were like, it sounded like the the offense was like, no, like we're so good at running the ball. Why would you even like get away from that?
essentially, but you know what? And I know a lot of people love to hate on Nick Sirianni, but I will give Sirianni this credit: is he is not stuck in his ways.
No.
Um, one of the team captains comes to you and is like, "Coach, like, come on, like,
We got to run the ball.
we got to run the ball. The run game is going to help utilize
The pass, which
and
will
it's going
do
to just help
everything
our
for you.
offense."
Not
And-
even the offense, but you run the ball and you're chewing all this clock. It's gonna preserve your defense.
Exactly.
That's half the reason this defense has looked so good because
They're fresh.
our time of possession is just off the charts because all of a sudden we're running the ball 24 times a game.
I mean, yesterday was really the first time that I've kind of seen the Eagles kind of get beat in
Mm-hmm.
time of possession, and they really closed that gap in the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
Third quarter, it seemed like it was all Baltimore,
Yep.
and they didn't come away with any points. And then Eagles kind of got the ball in the fourth quarter, and then kind of took over from there. But like, I will give all the credit in the world to Nick Sirianni for not being like, no, this is my offense. Like, we're gonna run it my way or the highway.
Yeah.
Like, he will listen to these guys, and I will respect him for that. And I know a lot of people, have their own personal grudge with Sirianni for, whether it's a game manager or, some of his decisions.
Can we talk about game management real quick?
Sure.
And the Chicago Bears.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Dude,
I was
that was-
watching that live.
I was too.
like,
That was what?
Oh,
That was
like,
Thanksgiving. That was the first Thanksgiving
I'm literally screaming at the TV. I was like, do something, do literally anything, call a timeout. And they, for some reason, decided to run. Like, if I'm Caleb at that point, like,
That blame falls solely on Caleb.
I don't think so.
I think it does.
Because
But if you watch his demeanor going up there, so what? There was like 30 seconds on the clock.
so it was 33 seconds.
So I in a perfect world, Caleb gets up there and runs a play quick because it was third down.
It was third down.
So you either run the play and it's either like a quick sideline, out of bounds, whatever, or it's a check down from 4 yards. You call your timeout, you kick the field goal. He went up there so nonchalantly, checking everything out. I don't know if he called an audible, but he was definitely surveying the field, looking at everything, and then decides, I don't even know if he noticed the clock. Decides to hike the ball with 4 seconds left and throws it downfield. If you are throwing the ball with 4 seconds left, it is an immediate check down and it is a timeout. So while I do think, what was it, Brian Flores? That was the coach? Or what was his name?
For
The Chicago, before he got fired. Not Brian.
Anyway,
I do think that clock gets down to 10 seconds or whatever. You say, hey, we got to call a timeout right now. But I do think it's on Caleb to have like the lack of awareness there to be like, I can't throw this ball downfield. I have to hurry up. I need to do something. And instead, it seemed like he wanted to play hero ball and try and get a touchdown and walk away with the win.
So it's kind of a mixture of both. So apparently, the Bears didn't get the play in until 20 seconds left on the clock, and by that point, Caleb was trying to get the play into the offense.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where like there was still some confusion as to what was going on, and then Caleb was like, "Okay, well, too much time has gone off the clock at this point. I'm going to audible real quick to try and win us the game." Like, so it's definitely a mixture of both blames to go.
Because
both
I think at
sides.
that point, you say, hey, there's already, on Caleb, hey, there's already confusion.
Just take the time out.
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
Point, really.
You burn the timeout and you say, let's go tie it and go try and win it in OT.
Yeah.
But instead, you try to play hero ball, which, again, I understand guys want to go out and win games. I do. But at a certain point, you got to be like, again, like, the Lions are probably thinking, well, this kind of the same idea. Hey, we'll take our chance in overtime. Just don't let
Yeah.
them score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So it's like, especially because it would have been a long field goal.
I think at that point after the sack, I think they were at what, the 40?
Yeah, it would have been like a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you take the chance there, just back up, don't let them score a touchdown. And
Yeah.
so it just like doesn't make sense that Caleb didn't call a timeout, coach didn't step in to call a timeout, and then because of all of that, coach ends up getting fired.
Yeah, it's just a messy situation.
I'm thankful we don't have to deal with that.
I'm very thankful that that we don't have to deal with any of that. And it's kind of crazy to think at one point they were 5-2, or on the verge of being 5-2.
Yeah.
They were a Hail Mary away from being 5-2, and then that moment during the season, just it all went down south.
Yep.
So I mean, my hope is that they go out for Caleb and they get like an offensive minded guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the talk of the town right now kind of seems to be Cliff Kingsbury
Mm-hmm.
and kind of reuniting him with Caleb.
Yeah.
I would not be opposed to that if I were
Where
the
is he?
Bears. He's with he's the offensive coordinator for
Arizona.
Washington.
Washington. Oh, my fault.
Yeah.
Where did Eric Bieniemy end up?
Where did Eric Bieniemy end up? I think he's some like college team.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't get a job anywhere.
Or what about the Lions OC?
In a perfect world, yes, Ben Johnson, but Ben Johnson's going to be like the number one target for
Yeah.
literally everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to get him
Yeah.
because everybody's going to be in on him. I'm sure there are probably going to be teams that even made the playoffs that are going to be in on him.
I.e. the Eagles.
You never know. I mean, but it kind of my hope is in a perfect world, Kellen Moore can kind of fly under the radar a little
That's
bit.
my hope.
I'd be very surprised if Vic went anywhere.
Well, I would be too.
I think he's done head coaching.
Yeah, and I also think he's a Philly guy. Like I think
Yeah.
he's like, hey, I'm close to family. My team's good.
That was the whole point of him leaving
Miami,
Yeah.
How many teams are going to need a new head coach?
All right. Well, let's see. Bears for one.
Probably the Jaguars.
Probably the Jaguars. The Jets. Giants. Yeah. That's what, 4. Colts are in the playoff hunt. I'd be surprised if they fired
I'm trying to think of
Shane.
Carolina.
Carolina.
Didn't they maybe?
Didn't they just hire a coach?
I thought they
though?
did.
And they're kind of turning things around, so I'd kind of be surprised there if they fire their coach.
So you're looking at like 4, maybe 5.
Yeah. So Ben Johnson's going to be one of them. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. Bill Belichick has to be another.
I would also think Brian Vrabel.
Vrabel, yeah.
Is it Brian?
Mike.
Mike. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Mike Vrabel will definitely be one of them. I mean, I'd be surprised Bieniemy. I don't think so, though.
No. So right there's already 3 guys, and that's not to say that like
I'm sure Kellen Moore will probably interview for jobs. Yeah. I just don't think that he would, unless because I mean, if you look at this Eagles team, all right, like their offense has been good, but like it's not like they've been spectacular. Yeah, it's not like they're chomping at the bit. Like
it's just been like, here's Saquon.
Yeah, essentially, it's like, okay, like Kellen Moore, like they're good. But are they good because of scheme, or are they good because Saquon Barkley or A.J. Brown?
So you hope that just he just flies under the radar?
I'm kind of hoping that's the case, that he just kind of flies under the radar. No, granted, I don't doubt that he could still go out and interview.
The Raiders need a new coach?
No, because they really like Antonio Pierce.
That's right, and this is his first year.
Huh?
They won't need a new coach.
What?
Won't?
Will.
Why?
Because I think they're gonna. I do not believe that they're going to keep Antonio Pierce next year.
Why? They love Antonio Pierce.
This was his first full year.
Yeah. And typically the Raiders are traditionally pretty patient with coaches.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't they fire Josh McCown after his first year?
That's different.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of different. I mean they were very patient with Gruden. Now, granted, I know Gruden, like they also shelled out a ton of money too. But
Gruden also kind of got himself fired.
He did.
For reasons outside of football.
Yeah, he did.
What's their record?
Not good.
Not good.
But
again, they
don't even have a quarterback.
I was going to say, do you give Pierce, what's Pierce?
Antonio Pierce.
Antonio Pierce. Do you give him another year and say, all right, go get your quarterback. Let's see what happens?
I mean, it'd be very unfair to look at Antonio Pierce and be like, hey, our team was terrible this year, and
this is your fault.
Yeah.
And again, like,
because they don't have a quarterback.
They traded away their best offensive player in Devontae Adams. Their best wide receivers, Jacoby Myers. They have 0 run game out of Zamir White and Alexander Madison. Their best offensive player now is Brock Bowers, and thank God.
Amir Abdullah is your starting running back right now.
Yeah. So it's like okay, our team is, you were debating between Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell. Gardner started, then AOC came in, then Gardner came back, then Gardner broke his collarbone. Now AOC is back in. So it's like it's just a mess.
They should have been able to get a quarterback in this year's draft. The problem is everybody and their grandma took a quarterback before Las Vegas could even do anything.
Yeah, and they'll get one this year. Whether it's, I mean, I keep hearing Sanders' name attached to
I
him.
don't see. I was starting to do my my scouting for.
You think Coach Dion gets a? Oh, I missed him.
Ah man, I
Gets an
needed that.
interview.
He'll get an interview. You know, I could absolutely see him interviewing in Dallas.
Oh my God,
We didn't even talk about Dallas, although Mike McCarthy's kind of like walking that fine line, and Jerry Jones is kind of
Well, it seems like
with the
Jerry
idea.
Jones kind of likes him. So
For some reason,
you're kind of
I don't know why.
well. It's because they're both terrible at their jobs, so they have something in common to talk about.
I could definitely. Oh man.
Hey, yo, Grassy, hit me.
I could definitely see Dion being an option for Dallas. I would
Coach
be.
Prime, baby.
I'd be kind of surprised though if it were like, well, and though. Oh, thank you. I would actually kind of be surprised now that I say Dallas because he's going to want to play with Shadur.
Shadur.
Do you think Dallas tries to get a quarterback then? You
Well,
think they try and
Dak,
trade
they
up?
just paid Dak all that money and he's 31. Like,
What if you trade Dak to the Jets?
that'd be kind of crazy actually.
What's up?
Dak to the Jets. Trade Dak to the Jets and then get Shadur to
That's hilarious.
Dallas.
Yeah, but then what do you do with Aaron Rodgers?
Well, to retire him.
Put him in a dark room.
You
for a
retire
vacation.
him.
You old yeller, that man.
You
Oh, jeez.
You tell
hold the
him,
shotgun
you
to
tell
his
him to
head.
look at the flowers. All right.
You
Well,
hold the
however
shotgun
many,
to
however
his
many
head.
book references I can do in one sitting here. You take care of Aaron Rodgers. All right.
You take care of
He's
him.
done. You cut G. Like,
That's
You
New
cut-
York. That's New York.
yeah.
Dude, he
You're no longer
again.
walking
This
here.
I was
Or anywhere in
I
your,
was-
in your case.
I was listening to, I was on the football side of TikTok, and some guy was breaking it down and was comparing quarterback stats from Zach Wilson last year to Aaron Rodgers this year, and Zach Wilson is at this point looks like the better quarterback per the numbers, which is crazy considering that offense is better. It is crazy to me how terrible that team is, because again, on paper,
They should be really good.
they should be. I mean, again, you have two superpowers at wide receiver in Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson. You have a top 5 running back in the league in Brees Hall. You have a fantastic defense on paper. And what are they? They have 4 wins? 5
Five.
wins?
On paper, yeah. They look solid. But that's the problem, is it's all on paper.
Exactly. So I don't know if it's being poorly executed by Aaron, by their head coach. Is that Adam Gase still?
No. It was Salah.
Oh. What? Where
They
have I
fired-
been?
They fired Salah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, you're in like 2018.
I know. It's crazy. My brain is fried.
Yeah, no, it's not good for
New York.
the Jets.
But you know what? It's funny with New York is like cursed from top to bottom because their
Well,
owners and
all right.
their owners and idiots.
So let's kind of think here for a sec. Some of the top quarterbacks that are going to be coming out here. So you got Quinn Ewers, probably Carson Beck, who I'm not impressed with at all.
He's another Georgia quarterback.
Yeah, Shadur Sanders.
I'm not impressed with him at all. I don't understand any
Like-
hype behind him other than the fact that he's Dion's kid.
I think it's the fact that he has like a PR team that kind of
Kind of
boosts.
needs a PR team.
Yeah, that kind of makes him look. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Trying to think who else other than that.
There's no. I don't see any other prominent quarterbacks.
Those are probably your top ones, your top main ones at least. Like I could look up.
I
real
don't
quick.
know. Wasn't there a guy out of Miami that's supposed to be legit?
Oh yeah, him.
Oh, Cam Ward. Yeah, you're right. Cam Ward's solid, but he might be a little bit of a project kind of guy.
Can we talk about where Gentry's going to end up? Hopefully not in the NFC.
It's going to be the Falcons. They're going to draft him at 7.
I've heard him tied to Dallas.
I could see that. I mean, I could see Dallas going out of their way.
You know what
to-
Philly should do? Draft him.
What, you go with a Saquon Gentry
Yep.
backfield? That'd be kind of crazy.
It'd
And we
be
can finally get rid of Kenny Gainwell.
no. I love Kenny. He can also be. Kenny can turn
Put
into
Kenny
what
in the
Boston
slot.
Scott was.
Yeah. Put Kenny in the slot.
Can he play slot corner?
Corner, sure. Yeah, why not?
What
Better
can't
than
that
Devontae
man do?
Maddox.
I
Also-
really like Ashton Genty. I do think he's going to be a fantastic football player at the pro level.
Me too. Oh, Jalen Milroe, he's another one. You got Jalen Milroe, Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders,
Where's Travis Hunter ending up?
Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller.
He's not senior, is he?
No, well, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure he's only a sophomore. Is he?
No, he would have redshirted.
Did he?
I think so.
So is he eligible to come out?
No,
Well, I mean, I guess he is, if according to here.
he is.
Hit me.
He is, but I don't know if.
Stupid ESPN Plus.
Boo. No, he is, but I don't think he will.
All right, I'm trying to find a. All right, so she got Shadur here at 1, Quinn Ewers at 2, Cam Ward at 3, Jalen Milroe at 4, Garrett Nussmeier at 5, and I mean Drew Aller's in here too, so I guess he might be.
I don't think he's declaring though.
I mean, I guess we'll have to find out. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss,
Ooh,
Carson Beck,
Dart.
Cade Klubnik.
General Booty from UL Monroe.
I love that guy.
please.
Dylan Gabriel from Oregon, Riley Leonard, and at this point now we're just kind of getting into Will Howard. Yeah, Will Howard's not.
No.
Will Howard's not doing jack. Which, by the way, I do want to talk real quick while we are on college football. Rivalry week
I loved it.
was fantastic.
Yeah, it
That
was so great.
Awesome. I was not sure. I thought it was a little played up at first, but it
They
turned
need
out
to do
be
it every year.
it turned out to be about as good as you could have possibly had hoped for. And I was watching Good Morning Football this morning, and they were all like, "It's like, all right, by like the 13th fight, it was like, can we please stop
Yeah.
planting flags?"
Five full-on melees that happened.
It was the
at end of
best.
game.
The worst one, the worst /
Ohio
best
State,
one was
Michigan.
the Ohio State Michigan one.
Pepper spray.
I was
They had to use pepper spray on the players.
They didn't have to use pepper spray. That was a little dramatic. The fact that they were
They
whipping out
used
pepper
pepper
spray,
spray.
was a little nutty.
I watched a video of a girl who was like on the field, like
Well, one of the like reporters.
no, just a random girl who,
Okay.
like, who happens to like I don't know, she had a pass or whatever. So she's like on the field and she gets caught up in the middle of it and her phone like she's like recording herself like this and all of a sudden you just see a line of pepper spray right across her face.
Ooh,
Yeah,
And she's like, "Oh my god, I can't see." And I'm like, "I bet."
one of the reporters.
she needs some milk.
And then this stupid like staff there, what happened?
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck do you think happened?
yeah. Ryan Day, just like
Oh,
the
he's an idiot.
the camera pans to him. You have like all of his entire football team in an all-out
Did you
melee.
see what
and
did you see what he said?
He's just like standing there, like my guy's frozen, and he's like, "What happened?"
He literally said to one of his staff guys, "What happened?" as he's watching like fists being thrown at everybody, and he's just standing there.
I love it.
Which, by the way, I shout out to the one Michigan staffer that saved the flag
And who is it?
because it was Jason Avant,
Former
Eagle
Eagles legend.
Jason Avant. Like, what? How did he even? I know he's from like he graduated from Michigan, but like the fact that he was even there is
Almost fighting players.
Yeah.
Just like,
See, I thought it was some staff, like some college kid who
Well,
was
no,
like, this
that's
is
what
coming
I-
out of my pocket.
I
if I don't
thought-
get this flag
I
back.
thought it was just some random team manager that was just like, here, let me get the flag back. Like, for it to be Jason Avant just makes it that much better.
Can you guys say or tell me what all schools were fighting? There were 5 of them.
All right, so we had Ohio State, Michigan,
Correct.
Arizona State.
Correct.
You had North Carolina and NC State.
Correct.
Trying to think. Those were at least the big ones. I'm trying to think what other.
there was another pretty big one.
I'm trying to think. Who was it?
your guess is as good as mine. I didn't watch much college football.
I don't who.
It was Florida State,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and it was Texas A&M.
Was there one?
Yeah,
For
because
Texas?
Texas planted the flag and A&M because that was the game day game.
Well, I was gonna say I was watching that. I didn't watch to the end. I pretty much.
Texas planted the flag in a melee ensued after that one too because Texas A&M took exception to it.
It's
Well,
the best.
Well, and everybody.
I actually really do love the the trident being planted down.
The trident was pretty cool.
Did you guys see the video of the mascots throwing hands at each other?
Yes,
No.
the mascots were literally with
Arizona State were
yes,
just
with-
throwing haymakers
with-
at each
I'm
other.
getting
with
on
the-
TikTok right now.
with the
dude's
full
out-
costumes on. They're throwing
They-
full
the
haymakers
one
at each
dude's
other.
like costume
I
head
forgot
nearly
about
came
that.
off. It was the
It was
funniest
so
thing.
funny. Like literally, the one dude, the mascot, his head
Like
was
they
on
are straight
backwards
up
at one
egg. They're
point.
like, come on, let's go, and they just start throwing like connecting with each other.
It was so
It
good.
was so funny.
Yeah, no, it was.
this one?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, did you see the stupid cheerleader come in and throw
That's
hands?
so crazy. She's like laughing and thinks this is hilarious, and they're like, "No, this is
I don't.
legit."
I don't know if it was like staged or like what, but it was so
Didn't
funny.
seem staged.
Yeah, it was so good.
See, you've seen that before though. Like mascots have fought before, but like
It's my favorite when mascots fight.
I know.
not even like the
I do love the even the end of the Penn State game when the Maryland coach was like jawing at James Franklin for running up the score, and James Franklin is just like in his post game presser responds with
Okay.
like he's literally like it's like my 3s and 4s are out there, like you're still playing your 1s, like play football, dude, like like essentially telling them like, hey, like your team is trash for not being able to stop my 3s and 4s.
Yeah, get good.
Yeah, he's like, you're still trying to score. I'm still going to try and score. Like, come on. So,
What do you want me to do? Start kneeling at the start of the fourth quarter?
exactly. Like, so, I don't know. I'm not a big James Franklin guy by any means necessary. But I was like, all right, like, respect. Also, funny enough, I love how Penn State, the first year that they do away with the expanded playoff, or they
add.
start the expanded playoffs, and they end up finishing top 4
they
anyway.
end up getting
So
the Big Ten championship game anyway,
I know
which they have no chance in that game
against
I-
Oregon.
Yes,
I don't know, man.
I value Oregon as a very good football
Oregon.
team.
No, don't get me wrong.
I
Oregon
value them
is
as an extremely good football team.
Oregon is a 1-1. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, in terms of NCAA 25, they are a 5-star.
yeah. I'm pretty sure every time that I have played a season through NCAA, Oregon has
Oregon's a
won
powerhouse.
the
Oregon does scare me.
the national championship.
Oregon does scare me.
They do scare me, but I do think that Penn State, their defense, like Abdul Carter, is just a freak of nature. Like that dude is so like essentially the Eagles' Jalen Carter, or like Penn State's Jalen
Mhm.
Carter. Like that dude is in the backfield every single play.
Who?
Abdul Carter. Like he is so
Can the
good.
Eagles draft him so we can get Jalen
They
Carter
could.
and Asul Carter?
They could.
Wouldn't that be terrifying?
That would be terrifying.
like-
Abdul Carter is like insanely good.
like
It
I,
could happen.
Here
I
come-
know,
I don't-
he's not. It's not gonna happen. He's
Here
gonna go
come
too
the
high.
Carters.
yeah,
He's gonna go really high.
he's probably going to go like top 15. But I mean, we could get lucky if if there's a huge run of offensive players again.
Well, I bet you at least 4 quarterbacks get taken in the first 10 picks.
Whether they should or not. That's
Yeah.
good. Like Carson Beck is going to end up going like 8 for some reason to Atlanta, like
Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix.
and Carson Beck. They want to keep him in state,
Oh,
So
of
it's
course.
a Georgia connection.
Of course.
Um,
Should we transition to the Sixers?
yeah, let's transition to a little Sixers talk.
Good. We won a game.
We did win a game. Actually, the last game that we've played, we won. And I will give a lot of credit to the Sixers here because we've now played. I'm trying to think. What was the timeline here? It was. So they played. They played the Clippers in there, right?
No.
No. I'm trying to like think back to the timeline here. So
What
I know
timeline?
last game we had played. We played Detroit. The game before that was Houston. Was it the Clippers? Before that, was it Brooklyn then L.A. or did we play?
Let me look.
Okay. Because if that's the case, then our last 3 games I feel very encouraged by. If not, then if we have the Clippers game slipped in there and it's 3 of 4, then it's like, okay, I'm not as encouraged, but still pretty encouraged considering how we've looked the entire rest of the season. But at least
All right.
all right.
So we just played the
We just played Detroit.
Yep. Then it was the Rockets, Clippers, Nets.
Okay, so I was right. Okay, so yeah, we beat the Nets. We got smoked by the Clippers.
No, we lost it. Oh yeah, we did beat the Nets. I'm sorry.
Yeah, beat the Nets. Got smoked by the Clippers. Took the Rockets to overtime, and then beat the Pistons. Now, granted, I understand the Pistons were without Cade, but we're also without Joel, so it's kind of even.
Kind of.
And trying to
It
think.
makes me so mad. Joel's only played 4 games.
4 of what? 18.
Yes.
Yeah, 4 of 19 because I know he's not playing tomorrow.
I just don't get it, man. It like actually bums me out. Anyway, I don't want to be sad about it. It's also knee/personal reasons.
My eyebrow is a little raised by the personal reasons aspect of it. But he did say over the offseason that him and his wife were expecting a baby. So I don't know if that maybe has anything to do with it. Or if he's like doing some Batman type investigative reporting, trying to figure out who the rat in the locker room is. So I don't know. But Paul George at least returned to the lineup against Detroit, and then re-left the lineup because he injured his other knee. But I don't know if he's on the injury report for tomorrow. It seems like he should be okay to play, to my understanding.
Tomorrow? Joel?
Yeah. No,
PG?
Paul. Yeah.
I think he's playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I know they got an extra day of rest, so it kind of seems like he should be playing, but I'm not 100% certain on if that's for true. He actually looked pretty good against Detroit. They actually all did.
He looked pretty mobile.
Yeah,
Looked pretty good.
It looked like they were flowing better offensively. Also, big fan of Adembona too.
Oh, he looked really good.
He did.
It kind of sucks to see Dre go down like that.
Yeah, because I think Dre actually started out the game pretty strong.
Yeah. And then went out in the first 4 minutes of the first quarter.
Yeah.
But yeah, Adembona, again, he is very Clint Capella to me.
He's just a high energy guy. And for the Sixers, for as much as they're preaching like, okay, we just need effort guys, we need energy guys. Like, you want effort and you want energy. It starts with Jared McCain, Ricky Council, KJ Martin, and Adembona.
Yeah.
Like, those are your guys that seemingly are going to give you your highest amount of energy. You can even, like, obviously Kelly. You can obviously mix in, Gershon and Tyrese. Yeah. But, like, Ricky and KJ especially, and I'll even mix in Bona, like, they just play with such, like, let's just jump out of the gym energy.
Yep.
Which I love that about them.
Well, and again, like, we talked earlier about, like, why this team is underperforming, obviously excluding the injuries. And a big factor to me was the lack of ability of the 3-ball. They were just ice cold from 3. But I think the other side of that is kind of like we said, like, there just hasn't been enough energy.
Yeah.
There hasn't been enough fight. There's been no dog. So to see these guys, whether it's Adembona, Ricky Council, KJ Martin, just kind of step up and be like, hey, we need something. I'm going to go do it. Kind of shows a lot just to the fight of the team. And, just the 3-point shooting will click. Like, this team is a better 3-point shooting team than is currently being, showcased. But you just got to win some of these games in scrappy manners. That's what it comes down to. If it comes down to, KJ Martin, hustle points is the difference in a game. Well, listen, hustle points are still points.
Yeah.
So you just got to find ways to fight and win. And again, that Rockets game was a little taking it to OT. It fell short. But like, hey, like, I just want to see the fight. If the fight's there, I'll believe in this team. There's been too many games where it's just been like too lackadaisical, and I still think that the whole team is under the like mindset of like, oh, like PG's coming back and Joel's coming back, and I finally think that there's a little bit of urgency to be like, hey, we got to go out and win games before they come back so that we can make the playoffs.
Yeah, and I do agree with that because there was like very much so that sense of like, hey guys, just wait for PG to get healthy, wait for Joel to get here, and then like, I think they came back and they kind of realized they're like, okay, we need to start doing this ourselves. Like, we need to be the ones to have control of our own own destiny per
Yep.
se, because Joel's going to be out of the lineup a lot. He's already been out of the lineup a ton. Like he's only played in 4 games so far this season, and you're going to have to figure out a way to do it without his 30, 40 points a night, his defensive. So, Bona, by him kind of being the paint guy that he is, having his presence felt, you're going to need scoring from Tyrese, which, he can get you buckets.
You're gonna need like the back end of the bench guys to kind of step up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like Ricky Council has to average 20, but hey Ricky, if you're getting Jameis Winston with a pick 6.
Jameis, that was such a terrible decision. That is the Jameis. I love Jameis Winston.
That's
all
the
right?
Jameis we've come to know and love.
Yes, he will give you some great throws. He will also give you the most mind-numbingly "What are you doing?" throws,
Yep.
and that was a "What on earth are you doing, brother?"
But anyway, back to the Sixers. You just need some of these guys to they have to be playing plus minutes. And what I mean by that is like your value doesn't have to show up in the box score necessarily. Like it doesn't have to be points. But like again, just hustle plays. Hey, diving for loose balls, getting rebounds, running the court properly. Like, if Tyrese, you can't just assume Tyrese is going to outrun everyone. You got to be back there for help. Like just little ways to go out and help your team win. One of the things I've liked is recently, I don't know if Nick Nurse had a conversation with Ricky about like, hey, when you're in, I need you to rebound. Because all of a sudden it looked like a light switch flipped. And like the other night, I forget what game it was, he had like 8 rebounds in a game. And I'm like,
Ricky,
that doesn't seem
to my
Ricky-esque.
understanding, Ricky essentially like sat himself down and like went back and watched last year's tape and was like, okay, what am I doing here that worked for me last year that I'm not doing like to this point? And he was like, I just need to go out and I need to just be a ball of energy.
Yep.
I need to go out here and I just need to give them all that I got. And I will give a lot of credit to both Ricky and KJ for last game because they attacked the hoop. They were, it opened up the game for Tyrese later on in the game.
Yep.
But Kelly was attacking the hoop. Like he was getting his shots to fall. And I think that's a big thing too is the Sixers will get these open looks and then they can't hit them. Well, I think, last game at least was a case where they finally were starting to hit these open looks. Paul George was starting to hit some threes. Kelly Oubre was hitting threes. Like, I know Ricky Martin, he had hit the 1-3. Like, you just need these guys.
KJ Martin.
KJ Martin's at least getting
You
them
said
up.
Ricky Martin.
Did I say Ricky Martin?
Yep.
I meant Ricky Council. Ricky Council, I know, had the 1-3. Sorry, I was on a roll.
Yeah, Ricky went 1 from 3, 5 of 7 overall. He had 5 rebounds, an assist, and 17 points.
Yeah.
Played 27 minutes. Some of these other, high motor guys we were talking about. KJ Martin, 27 minutes, 7 of 8, 1 of 2 from 3, 19 points. Tyrese with 28. I mean, I'm not loving PG's efficiency right now. He was 4 of 12, 1 of 2 from 3. But, like, he is giving you a little bit of everything. He had 5 assists and 8 rebounds.
He's at least giving you the playmaking aspect, which they so desperately need.
He was plus 30.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
If there is one thing for certain that...
Ricky Council was minus 17, by the way.
What, in this past game?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
That's really surprising. Well, although I think a lot of it may have had to do with the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Because I know at that point, Ricky was playing with the...
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that this team desperately needs to do come the trade deadline, they need a point guard.
Yep.
They need to get a true point guard.
That is not Reggie Jackson.
That is not Reggie Jackson. That is not Kyle Lowry. They need a true point guard. I would even argue that they don't necessarily need to put all their assets and resources into a power forward.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's kind of where everybody is looking at right now, like going out and getting Dorian Finney-Smith from the Nets. But I think Gershon Yabusele has done a pretty good job this year.
Yeah.
If you can put like decent resources into getting a good, solid facilitator, getting a good, solid point guard, I think it would do a world of difference. Like you go out and you try and find like if you can go out and get like Lonzo Ball,
That
like,
would be fantastic.
that would probably be the most ideal situation. He can score. He is a pass first kind of guy that can get you a bucket when need be. Like he'll open up so many more things for Tyrese and PG to the point where PG doesn't even have to facilitate. Like he can literally just be like a 3-point shooter. I think it would do the team very good. It's just a matter of who's actually out there and available.
Who's available at what cost?
Yeah, because and that's the frustrating thing is there were so many good like cheap options at point guard during the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have gone out and gotten like a Chris Dunn. You could have gotten Tyus Jones. Like and they opt. Now, granted, I look back at the offseason and I'm like, man, A+ job. But now it's like we're 4-14 and I'm like, okay, let's maybe rethink some things.
Yep.
And again, like I like Caleb Martin too. I'm just starting to wonder if Caleb might be better suited for coming off the bench.
Yeah. I mentioned the 3-point shooting of the team.
Yeah.
I want you to guess who you think the best 3-point shooter
Jared
on our
McCain.
team is. Nope.
Really?
Really?
Gershon Yabusele.
Yep.
Yeah.
43.7%.
Well, that's the thing. It seems like he knocks them down at a pretty high volume. Now, granted, he gets a pretty good amount of open looks.
He shoots 4 a game.
Yeah.
So he's making almost 2 a game.
It seems like he gets a pretty good amount of volume on his threes.
Jared McCain is 36%.
Which isn't terrible. I know he's kind of had a few down games here recently.
On 6 attempts a game.
I can only imagine what Tyrese is looking like.
33%.
Yeah.
On 10 attempts a game.
I was going to say, I mean, him is just kind of chucking them up at this point, getting as many up there as he can.
KJ Martin is 43%.
That's very surprising.
He is shooting half of a 3-pointer per game.
That feels very surprising to me.
Let's see. Anyone else surprising here?
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson at 41%. Oh, almost 3 a game. I don't mind that.
Okay.
Nothing else there, really.
All right.
Anyway,
you
got any more about the Sixers?
Do I have any more about the Sixers?
Excuse me.
I hope they continue to play good, better.
I hope we need to get Joel back.
Yeah,
I think that'll. And when I say back, I mean like consistently back.
Not like hey, is he going to be in the lineup? Hey, is he not going to be in the lineup?
I don't need every game, but I need you for if we play 3 games in a week, I need you for 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like I just need some form of consistency. And especially, like PG, like I know he's been a little cold. Again, he was just 4 for 12 the other night.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, I mean, he's been in and out of the
exactly.
lineup. Like he can't get any consistency going either.
I really think that if he gets some more, because he looks like his game looks smooth. Like he's just not hitting shots.
I do really need him to stop shooting long mid-range twos.
Yes.
Where it and not even like they're wide open, but like contested.
Yep.
Because he does it a lot, where he does this ISO thing at the top of the key, or like,
and he'll get like one dribble in, and then he's like pull up
from like long 2, and then it doesn't fall, and I'm like, should you be doing that right now? Like,
just take the 3 if you're gonna do that.
Just take the contested 3 over the contested 2. Like at that point, like I'd much rather get the extra point out of it. Because analytics and whatnot, and
3s are worth more than 2, and
the James Harden style of play, where it's like if you're not getting a shot 2 feet from the rim, you might as well be shooting
that
at 3.
Down.
Yeah, but
anyway, I'll bring up the Phils quick because there's not much to talk about.
There's really nothing going on with the Phillies.
The only thing I'm aware of is that teams are interested in Jeff Hoffman. With the hopes of converting him to a starting pitcher. And Connor, the pod, knows how you feel about that because Jeff Hoffman was nothing before he came to the Phillies and became a reliever.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense to me. The only upsetting part about that is it just means it's going to cost more for him now. If the rumor's true and teams are willing to be like, hey, we'll pay you to be a starter. Again, I'd hate to lose him, but I don't want to give up however many millions of dollars for him.
I'm getting a vibe that he might not be coming back.
Or is this just his camp trying to inflate his numbers?
Could be that too. You know, I would not rule that out necessarily. Because I mean, I don't know. I would love to have Jeff Hoffman back. Obviously, he kind of floundered in the postseason.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would certainly want to have him back because he's a good high leverage reliever for us. And he said multiple times, like, yeah, I want to come back to Philly, but obviously it's going to depend on the price. And if he's asking for too much, then
Yeah.
we have to
Sorry,
be
Jeff.
smart. Yeah. So I do not know. I guess we shall see. There's no rules on or no more rumors on Garrett Crochet.
Or Juan Soto.
Or Juan Soto. I think the only rumor that I've heard is that they're not talking to Juan Soto, but apparently they are talking to Juan Soto. Like they plan on meeting with him this offseason.
It feels like, and I know we're early in the offseason, but it feels like the Phillies have been like weirdly quiet.
There's nothing going on the Phillies front.
Like Blake Snell got signed like what felt like immediately by the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Which again pisses me off because I'm like, why does everyone just want to go to LA?
Ring chasing.
Yeah, at this point we got to like start discounting their rings. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you won a World Series with who? The Dodgers in what year?
It's kind of like the Golden State effect.
Yeah,
Where it's like teams are now just like actively like ring chasing.
where it's like, oh yeah, Kevin Durant, you won a ring? Oh, with the best shooter of all time and some other really good pieces?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Like, again, like, how much more do the Dodgers need in order to be like, I don't know. It just pisses me off. I'm so tired of deferred money.
Yeah, I mean,
I actually think, and I might have said this on the pod before, but I'll say it again. I actually think Shohei Ohtani's contract was like the worst thing that could have happened for baseball. I think he's very well deserving of that money, but the fact that he was like, oh, I'm going to defer 99% of it so it doesn't take a hit on the salary cap and whatnot, and we can still go out and sign guys like Blake Snell and this, that, and the other with like little to no consequence of luxury tax, it's bonkers to me.
yeah, no, I agree.
It just does not like, and again, like, I understand, and again, we've mentioned this before too, that like you can't really put a cap on or a salary cap in baseball. It kind of feels like they need to find a way to figure that out because it's just going to get out of hand because the Dodgers are the biggest, I think they're 2 behind New York, the Yankees,
Well, yeah.
in terms of like money to spend. And I'm like, what's stopping them from just offering everyone X amount of money and saying, we can win you World Series just for your money?
And then them just being like, okay, like, where do I sign?
Yeah, like,
Because, how many guys are going to, they want the money at the end of the day.
What a grab.
Let's go.
good throw.
I might actually be back in my my fantasy matchup. I got Judy and Njoku
Which league?
in the Dynasty, yeah.
Let's look.
I was going to say, because I just checked, and Judy had like 15 points, and Njoku already had 12, so. It's a steep hill to climb, but I'm climbing it, brother. So.
Grassy, did you beat your brother?
Nope.
I
Not
play
even
you
close.
next week.
Congrats on the win.
I hope so. I need it.
Hope so.
Connor, where are you?
Okay, we're climbing. I mean, the Joker's got 20 points now. Judy's got 14.
How's Cortland
Down
Sutton
13.
doing?
Down 13. I mean, it's anybody's game.
Man, imagine if you would have played anyone other than Kirk Cousins.
If I would have played Caleb, but all right, come on. Like in theory, like
Son of a bitch. he's
Caleb
still
against
7 points.
Detroit's defense, and then you watch Caleb in the first half, and it was exactly what I was expecting.
Yep. Cedric Tillman's out.
Yeah, he is. I just saw that too. But yeah, no, it went exactly how everybody was expecting, and then Detroit just kind of was like, eh. And then Caleb was like, here, let's make it competitive, and then lit it up until the final drive of the game.
I really needed Torrin to lose.
Yeah, Torrance team's actually pretty solid.
I know. I just want to hold on to the first round bye. Also, the fact that he's locked in playoffs and I'm not is baffling to me.
What, Torrance?
Yeah, his team is in playoffs. Asterisk.
Yeah.
I am not.
Probably because.
Our division's harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 9-3. Gavin's 8-4. Sieb 7-5, Nick 6-6, Grassy 5-7, and then your division goes 9-3, 6-6, 4-8, 4-8, 2-10.
I was gonna say we got me, Nico, Matt.
Crazy that if Matt would have kept his pick, and I know Grassy has it, like he'd end up with like, let's just say Genty, right?
Yeah.
And he'd be able to start like Genty and D Swift, but then he'd still have Amon-Ra, Puka, Jordan Addison, DJ Moore, the Jonathan Brooks is there.
So there's two different cases of.
And now that pick is mine.
So you've essentially spent all your draft capital.
Yep.
And it's worked out pretty well for you.
Very well.
He's spent all of his draft capital,
And it has not worked out.
It has
for him.
not worked out well for him because he's got no assets to rebuild.
No, my whole thing, and I don't know if you like looked, but like my whole thing was like, if I'm trading my draft capital, it's to be the youngest team in the league
Yeah.
and the most competitive.
Yeah.
And I am like again, my average wide receiver age is 25.
Yeah.
My average running back 25. My tight end 24, which Brock Bowers is going to win me so many games.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same as like,
Prime Travis Kelce.
I mean, he is good. I was gonna say, I mean, you go and get Brock Bowers and Malik Neighbors, and Brock Bowers is the one that lights it up for you.
Yep.
And then I was kind of thinking like, I go out like Caleb in my mind is the guy that's gonna light it up for me, and then Brian Thomas is the one that ends up kind of carrying the load. So
I'll take it. And again, I don't care who plays quarterback for the Giants right now, as long as they're throwing Malik Neighbors the ball. Don't care.
Yeah.
He got targeted 13 times last week. Also, my receivers, like, outside of A.J. Brown, actually. A.J. Brown was targeted 6 times. Malik Neighbors targeted 13. Drake London targeted 16 times.
I mean, you get the volume.
Brock Bowers targeted 14 times. Here's a fun one. Devon A-Chain targeted 9 times.
It's kind of crazy for a running back.
Yeah. And, like to be fair, my team had, like, a pretty down week. And I still won. Outside of, like, Brock Bowers. Like, my average score in this league is, like, 180. I guess I am up 186.
I'm not going to lie. It's still a little weird to see Jason Kelsey from Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It still throws me off
Makes
a
me
little bit.
sad.
Yeah. I love Jason, but it does kind of throw me off a little
Makes
bit.
me sad. But in
Yeah.
a good way.
It's a happy sad.
It's like seeing an old friend.
Exactly. Outside of like watching his podcast, like feel like I can't even say I don't really see him anymore because I actually feel like I see him more.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
yeah. You guys have any final thoughts for tonight?
I do not.
My final thoughts on tonight is I hope the Sixers continue. They got 4 games this week. I hope they continue to, get better, keep the chemistry flowing, keep the vibes relatively high. If they could come away and get 3 or 4 wins this week,
I'd be pretty happy.
that's a W in my book because we're what 4. We're 4 and 14 at the moment.
Sounds right.
So if we can get 3 out of 4 wins, puts us what 7 out of 15, 7 and 15. I would take that for this week. So
To be fair, so we are 4 of 14. We are 5 games back from a play-in, and
what is going on the field?
Had one too many Jolly Ranchers.
There's
there,
a
there
whole
are
stick
people
figure.
in glow sticks doing cartwheels.
That is amazing. It's a whole stick figure show.
Oh, I lied. We're also 5 games out of the 6th seed.
Even better. The East is not good.
No.
So, like, if there was a year for us to kind of limp our way along, it'd probably be this year.
Yeah.
So, listen, just get to the dance, and anything is possible.
Crazy to me that we're not last, by the way.
Well, Washington is absolutely dreadful. I don't think they won in a single game the entire month of November.
No, they're on a 14-game losing streak.
Yeah, they're Detroit bad,
They're
from last
very
season.
bad.
So, Washington is really bad, and I don't think they would have anticipated. Like Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole are not bad.
They're not ones, though. That's the thing.
No,
Like Kyle Kuzma could be like a decent 3
3 or 4.
3 or 4 option.
Yeah.
And then like I still think Jordan Poole is best suited to come off the bench and just be like, here's
just-
20 minutes a night, go score points.
He's a Jordan Clarkson, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Although, to my understanding, apparently Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson are both, like, on the market.
Hello, Philadelphia.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can go out and get a point guard and then just a dude that can just go out and get you buckets, like, I think point guard is what's really going to help this team.
I
Like,
agree.
if you let Tyrese just be a shooting guard, I think it would do this team so much good.
Lonzo.
Lonzo would be perfect.
Perfect.
But again, obviously, we're already dealing with enough injury stuff,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that maybe would
Yeah,
necessarily
are,
be
are we
perfect.
are we
per
gonna
se.
bank on like if they play they'll be good? I'd
Yeah.
rather bank on when they play they're good.
Yeah, let's kind of if we can keep a healthy point guard out there, that's ideally the goal. But that's my closing thoughts for tonight. Again, I hope the Sixers can kind of keep the good vibes, good energy going. If they can get 3 or 4 wins this week,
I'd be ecstatic.
I would take that as a win. So, gentlemen, it has been real.
Grassy, what's happening in wrestling?
So a lot. Right now they're trying to figure out.
Anyway, that's gonna be the end of No, go ahead.
No.
No, I wanna know.
Let's hear it.
They're trying to figure out who attacked a certain guy. One guy's mad at another guy because he's like, "Why are you getting mad? 'Cause that I helped another guy." So now it's just a kind of mystery of who attacked who. We're kind of figuring out stuff that's going on between the main event right now. The show just ended, so.
Okay.
Oh, wait, that's it? Like it's just done?
Well, I mean, no, they're kind of closing it out right now, but I don't know what else you want me to say here.
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
Anyway, go ahead, Connor. Get us out of here.
Alrighty, gang. Well, it has been an honor and a pleasure. Nolan would want me to remind you to follow us on the socials, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
Facebook?
We do not have Facebook.
I don't know.
Big dummy.
Follow us on Instagram.
We also
follow-
don't have Instagram.
Yes, but we individually have these
Oh, don't
accounts.
follow me. I'm not going to follow you back.
No.
I'll follow you back.
You can follow me on Twitter,
I'm not.
and you can follow the podcast on Twitter and YouTube.
Socials.
and Spotify.
What's the name?
Boat Row Bullies.
All across all platforms that we have: Twitter, YouTube, Spotify.
Shout out to Arnold Palmer. Feel like we haven't given you
Shout
guys
out
a
EP,
shout out
we
in a
love you.
while.
Shout out to Jolly Ranchers.
Also true.
Also true. A shout out to Band-Aids.
Shout out to Nick Foles.
Yes, for my hat.
Shout out to Fletcher Cox.
Yes, for his jersey.
For his jersey, yeah. Shout out to the dad hat.
Shout out Treasure Island for my shirt.
I like it. Shout out your hat. I've always liked that
And
Phillies
most
hat.
importantly,
Thanks.
shout out to all the boaters out there who are listening and watching across all platforms.
Heck yeah, brother.
Heck yeah, brother. We hope you all have a wonderful week. Izzy, get some sleep.
I need it.
Have a wonderful
We play
rest
the
of your
Chiefs in the Super Bowl this week, right?
week. Maybe in a couple months.
No.
You know what? I know we just did all that closing out stuff. I just wanted to talk about real quick though.
Lean back again.
I just want to talk about real quick. Did you guys watch that Buffalo game last night?
Yes.
That was such a fun game
I
to
love-
watch.
My wife was like, "Why are you watching football? The Eagles already played." And I was like, "Because it's snowing."
Football in the snow is
It looks like
America's best.
It also
pastime.
looks like the worst time to ever.
But you
because
know
like
what, though?
guys go to move and their feet are just like whoop.
Buffalo looked like they were like seasoned vets in it, like the
Well,
Bills.
I almost wonder why.
Yeah, but the Bills looked like they were having zero issue out there. Like they looked like they were totally unaffected by.
Well, it just
like those guys are out there in short sleeves and they're
Yeah.
like rolling around in the
But
snow.
like what cracks me up is like you see guys go in motion and they try and run across the line and
I
they're just
know.
like slipping and I'm like, is that a false start? like
Josh Allen is like throwing touchdowns, catching touchdowns, rushing
throwing
touchdowns.
and catching touchdowns at
Like,
the same time. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
It's crazy. Like Buffalo's good, man. They
are
are
good.
going to
They're
be
a lot of fun, too.
scary team.
Are you guys gonna watch the Simpsons game?
I just saw a commercial for it and I was
Are you gonna watch
intrigued.
it?
I'm probably going to watch. Actually, it's when we're going to be recording. So
When is it?
next Monday.
Oh, then yeah, we'll have it on.
Yeah, I feel like I love the Nickelodeon
We're gonna
football
watch it.
games.
Oh yeah, those are great.
I love the.
I hope I watch Homer strangle who's playing?
Dallas and Cincinnati.
Okay.
Oh my god! If
I-
Homer's strangling Jerry Jones, that would be the funniest thing I've ever
or,
seen
or
in my
Cooper
life.
Rush.
I would actually, or Mike McCarthy if he can get his hands around his neck.
No.
Can we get a graphic animation of Jerry Jones attempting to strangle Mike McCarthy?
You're the producer.
Well, no, not me. Them.
Well, listen, do producer things. Reach out to him.
Yeah, make some
Let me
phone
call
calls.
ESPN real quick.
Make
and
some,
yeah,
let
make
me
some
get that
phone
graphic.
calls.
Actually, you have to call Walt Disney. Disney owns ESPN.
Let me call Walt himself.
Yeah, his brain is underneath Cinderella's castle.
That's true, by the way.
Actually, it's his whole head.
That's
frozen.
true. And his whole body's
They
actually
Futurama-
frozen.
They Futurama him.
They did.
Yes. His whole body's frozen underneath Cinderella's castle. If you actually dive under where the water is, and there's a
Just
little
floating there.
there's a little like secret gate that you can get into.
Did Colleen tell you this?
No, I actually saw it firsthand. It was part of the tour.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. They say, but like that's the problem is like kids can't go on the tour because most of them don't make it past the water part, and most of them have a hard time finding the moat anyway. So
You haven't seen it?
No. Well,
he-
I know
he
it. I
hasn't
know
even
it.
been to Disney.
Well, you haven't seen like a TikTok or anything of it?
No.
Yeah, it's a real thing under
I
Cinderella's
know it's a
castle.
real thing, but like.
No, but like on the tours, like you can take
I didn't
tours
realize
to
you
go
could
see
take a
it.
tour
Yeah.
and see his like.
Yeah.
He's
Now-
like he's just frozen there.
Yeah, now you don't really like see his corpse. It's just like and this is where Walt is. He's behind this room.
Oh.
It's pretty
okay.
crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess that's how we're gonna close it out.
Yeah.
So we hope you all have a wonderful night and y'all stay beautiful out there.
See you.
Yep.